We conducted a randomized phase 2 trial in advanced non-squamous non-small cell lung cancer, looking at standard chemotherapy, pem-carbo, pemetrexed carboplatin combination with or without pembrolizumab. So one of the new PD-1 inhibitors that already has an approval in the second-line setting in individuals with 50% expression or higher of PD-L1. Our trial randomized roughly 123 patients. They were stratified but not selected for PD-L1 status. So any PD-L1 status was allowed. That PD-L1 status was blinded to the individual participants and their physicians, and the primary endpoint was response rate, and if that was positive, then progression-free survival. And in fact, we hit both primary endpoints. Response rate was nearly double. It's 55% compared to 28% for the control group, and we saw more than a 4-month improvement in median progression-free survival from 8.9 months to 13 months for the pembrolizumab combination. Survival currently is virtually identical. It's still very early, plus there is crossover in the control arm to pembrolizumab. So at 6 months, 92% are alive in both arms. At 1 year, 75% are alive in the pembro arm, 72% in the chemotherapy control arm. In general, the combination regimen, pembrolizumab and chemo, is very well tolerated. We do see a somewhat higher rate of overall toxicity in grade 3 and 4, but well within acceptable limits. 26% versus 39%. There were no differences in treatment discontinuation rates or deaths on study. There's really two different answers to that question. In the context of our trial, it took all comers. They had to be non-squamous, but it could be PD-L1 negative, 1 to 50% or 50% or higher. The benefit was similar for response regardless of PD-L1 status. Of note, those who had 50% or higher did have a higher response rate, about 80% compared to the mid-50s or lower 50s for those with lower levels of expression. The control group that had PD-L1 levels higher than 50%, their response on standard chemo was in the mid-30s, so 80% versus mid-30s. It's a very different issue for those who are PD-L1 positive in the context of Dr. Reck's trial that compared pembro to standard chemotherapy. There, we observe a response benefit, a progression-free survival benefit, and most importantly, an overall survival benefit, despite crossover. So the crossover is included in that trial as well, and they still observed a survival benefit. So I think as we go forward, we're going to separate out those who are PD-L1 positive 50% or higher from the rest. And if we do the math, the PD-L1 high expressors are roughly 25 to 30% of the overall population of non-marker, non-small cell. It's getting very complicated.